We have a lot to get to. Senator, you earned your paycheck today. First, let's talk about Senate Bill 1040, in which you were a main co-sponsor of the bill, and I've been talking about it. The bill provided loan forgiveness for individuals who applied for low-interest loans for Treasurer Garrity's new bridge loan program, even though some of the other parties' members have said it was a political piece of legislation to give you a little bit more political push and power. I think this is simply put, you're trying to help out people in need. So talk about Senate Bill 1040. Go ahead. Good evening.
So, hi. So as this budget impasse continues, we are in the state collecting money. Every day, everybody out there listening is still paying their taxes. The businesses are still paying their taxes. So we continue to collect money. But entities such as counties are not receiving that money, and they should be. This money should be in their coffers. So they have to take out a loan to, pay their bills. So they take out a loan to pay their bills, and then they get charged interest on money that should be already in their account. The treasurer must charge interest. It is a law. She can only do things that looks like an investment. So she loans money, they pay an interest on it. So this bill will give the treasurer the ability to forgive the interest on the loan. And that just makes perfect sense. We are collecting money every day and collecting interest and then lending it. Some borrow from the state, some borrow from banks, and then they're paying interest on money they should have. It makes perfect sense. It's not political. We want to help. Every county, doesn't matter if you're a blue county or a red county, rape crisis centers. She's helping the rape crisis centers, pre-K counts, Head Start. These are things that need help. Some counties are in great shape in the southeastern part of the state. They can go till December. They can go till January. But other counties aren't. So this is to help. This will help. I think what she did was very proactive and forward-thinking. There was an attempt today, there was talk today about what about private loans. The only issue with that is we could never pay more interest or points back to, say that Westmoreland County got a loan from First National Bank, and that now that interest rate is 6%. And their points. Mm-hmm. Our rate is 4.1%. We can never pay more than that, and there are no points with the loan coming from the state. So, I'm not against looking at that. It didn't happen today because what they were going to put forward, they didn't, and it wouldn't have worked because it didn't protect the money in the bank. It did not protect that. It said whatever interest, and we pay points, and we take money out of the rainy day fund. Oh, no, we're not going to do any of that. But we might be able to make this work. So, it's just to help. We just want to help. None of this is to hurt anybody. We're not doing anything, nothing that we're doing. We don't want to hurt people. So if this helps and this alleviates some of the stress that is caused by our inability to come to a conclusion on the budget, then we should do whatever we can.
Well, listen, let me just say this. If she wasn't running for governor, as a gubernatorial candidate, everybody would have been taking credit for this. It's sad that sometimes the politics gets caught up in something good. And when I saw this story break and I got the releases from her office and I saw Head Start in there, I started thinking about education. And make no mistake about it, this affects everyone who is really suffering right now because this thing is stuck in neutral. And I'm sure you would agree with me, are the students and teachers and administrators in school districts, and we need to figure this thing out and get it done. So before we get down to the budget and where we are with this impasse and how I believe certain people could make a difference and some of the things they were saying about your party, I want to give you a chance to respond. Do you think the average person realizes how many people are suffering because this thing is now 100 days old?
So, no, because I don't think it affects people in their houses, right? This budget impasse, if I have kids and things start to happen at my school, then yes, I realize it. Mm-hmm. If I'm a county employee and I'm getting laid off, yes, I realize it. The Children's Bureau, that's so important that we make sure that that is funded. So, yeah, I think it depends on if it affects you directly. the schools have not, surprisingly, they're starting to, but usually they're the loudest, and we haven't heard much from them. I think that if they went to Treasurer Garrity, if she chose to, or I guess I shouldn't say that. That's just such a big pile of money, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's a lump of money because that is a big part of the budget. But, we have to help them. And I want to go back to something you said. Treasurer Garrity is the state treasurer, but she's running for governor. But because she's running for governor, that doesn't mean that she shouldn't do her job as treasurer. You're just doing her job. So hopefully we can get this squared away pretty soon. It just seems like we're never close enough. Right? Today, we sent a bill to the House 2 months ago. 2 months later, it will be 2 months, October 12th. They sent a bill back. We had no idea what was in it. We had no idea what the number was. That's not how you do this. You kind of have to talk to each other. So you can't expect then us to turn that around in an hour. We don't know what's in it. We didn't even have, it was just, I think they're feeling pressure, and I'm glad they finally sent something back, but it's taken 2 months.
All right, so let me quote verbatim some public statements. Obviously, tensions running high in Harrisburg. Accusations by both sides. General Assembly, where the Republicans control the Senate and Democrats the House. Governor Josh Shapiro, speaking during an appearance in Lackawanna County, accused Republicans playing politics, which I was alluding to earlier. A few hours earlier, House Democratic Majority Leader Matt Bradford from Montgomery County said Republicans were avoiding a deal in an attempt to damage the political standing of Mr. Shapiro, who is expected to seek re-election next year. And you say, State Senator Kim Ward.
I say that's ridiculous. The governor also says that, we're trying to harm him. This isn't about the governor. It would be good if the governor would get his hands in the middle of it and a little bit, more involved and get his little hands dirty a little bit. But this isn't about the governor. This is about what we have been saying from the beginning. This is about the governor came out with a budget. And I call it a wish list, but it was over $4 billion more in spending than the projected revenue. And the streams of funding for that budget that he introduced didn't exist. We don't have recreational marijuana. We don't have taxes on skill games. So, that was a hard starting point because it wasn't really a starting point. It didn't balance at all. So he did that. Then we started back and forth. The Democratic House wants to spend more money. So does the governor. They want to spend so much more money than we have projected as revenue. That might be really boring to people, but it might sound boring. But if we let that happen, that extent of spending happen, we are going to end up with a tax increase next year, the year after. And what we're fighting for is for some common sense. We are going to absolutely spend more than is projected to come in. We absolutely are. It's just hard. But we don't need to spend $3 billion, $4 billion, $4.8 billion more than what is coming in. That's not how we run our houses. That's not how we run our businesses. We're just trying to protect taxpayer wallets here because the taxpayers have to pay for that. When you're spending a lot more than you're bringing in, who's going to make up that difference? So if we're going to make up the difference is coming from the taxpayers. They will end up with a tax increase, and in the next 2 years, spending at the rate, especially the governor's budget, we'll have an empty rainy day fund. We'll have absolutely nothing, no financial standing anywhere.
Where did that money go?
You do that,
Senator, where did that money go? How's it empty?
Well, because if we spend, so let's take the governor's original budget.
Okay.
If we spend $4.8 billion more dollars than we are projected to bring in, $4.8 billion. Where is that money coming from? When the governor says there's no tax increase, what he's saying is we're going to take it out of the rainy day fund. So we take it out of the rainy day fund this year, we take it out of the rainy day fund next year, and then it's empty.
Mm-hmm.
This is not, a political ploy to hurt the governor, to hurt anybody. We have real disagreements, the Senate and the House, on how much money we should be spending and how we spend it. Where does it go? we keep spending money that we don't have. And if you spend money that you don't have on items in a budget that needs funded every year, none of this works. This doesn't work dollar for dollar. So we aren't trying to hurt anybody. We're trying to come to an agreement that the taxpayers are not ending up in the hole because of it. That's what it is. It's not politics. It's just this is real money that we're talking about here.
It's a fact of life. All right, 2 more things for State Senator Kim Ward. Always a pleasure to have her on the air. First off, so did I read you right saying that the governor, in your opinion, is not doing enough? And if he would do more, do you think it would help get this budget passed?
So what happens with the governor is he will agree to things. He'll agree. And then the other governor, Matt Bradford, will say no, and Governor Shapiro will pull back, just as he did 2 years ago with, the program to help low-income kids in failing schools. He will agree to it, but he won't stand up and fight for it. So that has been very, very frustrating. He even said last week or the week before, well, I can put a budget out and I can sign it, but they have to do everything else. Well, Governor, you're the leader of the state. These are 3-party agreements. You're the leader. Get in there and lead. And this is not. I'm not knocking him. This is just his way he governs. We need a stronger hand in there to help us. And we need, when he makes an agreement with the Republican Senate, that he stands up to that agreement and he doesn't back down when Matt Bradford, who is the House Majority Leader, and I call him Governor Bradford.
Yeah, I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah, because he runs. He tells Governor Shapiro no, and Governor Shapiro backs right away. So it's been a.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Matt Bradford is stronger, I guess. I don't know. In the past, the governor has been the person. I've been here a while. I've been through a lot of budget. The governor is the person that gets the deals closed. He uses the tools that he have. Maybe it's grants for whatever, or any tool that he has, legislation, and he closes the deal. But that's missing. And when we're talking about this many dollars, billions of dollars, over $50 billion, when 10 years ago our budget was $30 billion.
All right.
Why has it gone to $50 billion?
I got to get to a break, and I want to thank you for spending time with us. But the last thing, how do we stop this from becoming Groundhog Day? How do we make this process kind of go in a different direction so we don't have to repeat this thing every year? What do we need to do?
Yeah, we have repeated it for the past 3 years. I just think we should start earlier. The governor gives his address in February. Let's start in February working on this and seeing where we are. And actually, I wish I had all the answers to this, or we wouldn't be in this position. We've had late budgets throughout the years. One year we didn't when Rendell was governor, was December 27th. This happens. So we just have to keep fighting and doing our best.
All right. Listen, great job as always. Thank you for your candor. Keep up the good work, okay?
Okay. Bye-bye.